everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe this channel if you haven't subscribed till now, and if you are new to this channel then welcome to the channel. Please do subscribe. Also do join us at our Telegram channel. The link for the Telegram channel is given in the description itself. Well, as Accenture exam is approaching and most of you have already done with the exam, in this video we'll be solving some coding questions that are recently being asked in the Accenture exam. This video is going to be very helpful for all of you, so make sure to watch the video till the end. Also do share this video among your friends who are having the exam in upcoming days. Don't forget to join us at our Telegram channel and do subscribe the channel. So let's start with the first question now. So the first question says, also just let me tell you one thing, that the level of question is very easy. The question are going to be very easy, so you don't have to worry about the difficulty. So the first question is that given an integer array, print the largest number in the array and the index on which this number is present. So for example, this array is given to you, that is the size of the array is given to you, and these are the array elements given to you. So first of all you have to print the largest numbers, which is the largest number here in this array, that is 86. Now 86 is located on which index? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At the 9th index, this is the element 86. So we are getting in the output 86 and 9. Also in the Accenture exam, you don't have to directly write the main function or so. Main function already will be implemented. You have to write the actual code, the actual logic basically in a function, right? So that is the case in case of Accenture exam. So without any delay, let's see that how we'll be solving that particular question. Well, that's a very easy question. The whole logic is that just iterate through the complete array, and let's take a variable m, initialize with this 0, and what we'll be doing, we'll be comparing this every element that is present in the array to that of m, and if that particular element is greater than that of m, so we'll be updating the value of m. So this is what we'll be doing, and we'll be keeping on doing this thing till the time we are getting the maximum element. So what we can do, you can see as soon as we'll be getting the maximum element, so no other element is going to be greater than that of the maximum one. So what we'll be doing, we'll be directly printing the maximum element that is stored in the m variable, and also we'll be printing the index associated with that. So what basically we are going to do, so like this, int I equal to 0, I less than m, we have to run the loop I plus plus. Now here we'll be checking that if a of I, let's suppose the array is a of I is greater than that of m, so what we'll be doing, we'll be updating the value of m as a of I, right? Also what you can do, let's take a variable for position also. So position, you can take it as 0 initially, and here we'll be updating the value of position also, right? And this will keep on doing like this till the end of the array, right? And after coming out of this loop, we'll be simply printing the element, the largest element that is stored in the variable m, and the position on which that particular largest element is located. So this is what we are going to do. So without any delay, let's move to the code part now. So let's see. So first of all, what we have to do, let's take n. So that is what? That is the size of our array, ampersand n. Now let's take an integer array of size n. Now we have to take the array elements as input. So I less than n, I plus plus, scanf percent d okay. So array is arr, so ampersand arr of I, right? Now what we need, so let's take a variable pos, that is position, and m, initialize both of them as 0. Now what we'll be doing, so we'll be simply running a loop I plus plus. So here we'll be checking that if arr of I is greater than that of m, so what we'll be doing, we'll be updating the value of m as arr of I and position as I. And after coming out of this loop, we'll be simply printing printf percent d, this slash n I am taking for the new line, and percent d. So first of all I want to print the maximum element, then its position, right? So you can see how small the code was, how easy it was. So let's run the code now. So if suppose we are giving 8 as the size, and now we're getting 12, 34, 56, 78, 87, 34, 56. So you can see we are getting 87 as the maximum element, because what is the maximum element in this particular array? 87. And on which index it is located? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that is what we are getting. So this is it for the first question. Now let's move to the next question that was asked in the Accenture itself. So here's the next question. So basically, as I've already told you that at the Accenture exam, you have to basically write a function. So what we are having in this question, that there is a function sum of pro, and this function is taking two integer array, that is arr1 and arr2 as arguments, and they both are of size n according to the question. So it is taking three arguments, basically arr1 array, arr2 array, and the size n as the argument. Now what you have to do, so you have to find the product of elements of arr1 and arr2 by multiplying the first element of arr1 with the last element of arr2, second element of arr1 with the second last element of arr2, and so on. Okay, so this is what we have to do. Basically what they are trying to do, so you have to do arr of 1 0 multiply by arr 2 n minus 1, right? Similarly arr of second element that is stored at the first index, you have to multiply with the second last element, that is n minus 2. So this is what you have to do, and then after like this, you have to return the sum of all the products obtained. So all the products that you will be obtaining, you have to return the sum of that. Also note that array indexing starts from 0, and if both the arrays are empty, none in case of Python, then you have to return -1. This is what they are saying. So you have to check if both the arrays are empty, then you have to return -1. Output lies within the integer range that they have given. So for example, they have given the input that suppose arr1 is 22, 7, 1, -5, 5, minus ka 2, and arr2 they have given as 4, minus ka 1, 21, 12, 10, minus 3. So what you have to do, you have to multiply this 22 by minus ka 3. So that will give us minus ka 66. You have to multiply this 7 by this 10. So that will give us 70. You have to multiply this 1 by this 12. So we'll be getting 12. You have to multiply this minus ka 5 by this 21. So we'll be getting minus ka 5, 105. You have to multiply this 5 with minus 1. So that will be giving us minus ka 5. You have to multiply this minus ka 2 with 4, so that will be giving us -8. And then you have to add all of them, you have to add all this multiplication, and if you will be adding them, then what we'll be getting, we'll be getting -102 at the output. So we have to print this in the output. So this is what we have to do in the question. I hope you understood the question. So without any further delay, let's move to the code part now. Let's understand that what we have to do for. So first of all, we are having an integer n, right? So n is the size of the array arr1 and arr2. So let's take scanf ampersand d ampersand n. Right now we have to take the elements for arr1, that is also a size n, and arr2, that is also of size n. So first let's take the element of arr1. So int I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus scanf percent d percent arr1 of I. Similarly, we have to take input the elements of arr2. So I0, I less than n, and I plus plus scanf percent percent d ampersand arr2 of I. right? So here we have taken the elements as input. Now one more thing that we'll be doing, let's take s, that will be calling the function. So let's suppose the function name they have already given, but let's take, as of now I'm taking it as sum of. So this is taking three arguments. So array1, arr1, ar2 and n. So this is taking three arguments, and some, whatever sum it will be returning, that will be stored in our variable s. So we'll be simply printing the value of s. So percent t s. Right now we have to implement the actual logic, and that will be implemented in sum of part, right? So let's move to that function sum of. So that is taking an integer array arr1, integer array arr2 and size, right? So this is what it is taking. Now first of all, the first condition that they have given, if both the array are 0. So how we can check this, that if n equal 0, it means the size of both the arrays 0. If that is the case, so we have to simply return -1. Okay, and if you are using Python, so you have to return none. Otherwise what we'll be taking, so let's take a temporary variable here, s equal to 0 for the storing the summation of the products, right? So what we'll be doing, we'll be simply running a loop, I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. So now what we'll be doing s equal to s plus, and now here we'll be putting this multiplication. So I want arr1 ith element, ith, so here I is 0. So first element I want to multiply with the arr2 last element. So how can I get the last element? So what we can do, if I am subtracting, if I am doing like this, n minus I, right? So as of now, what is the value of I? It is 0. N minus 0 will give me nth index, but that is not possible because indexing starts from 0, right? So here I have to subtract this one also. So now what I'll be getting, as if I value 0, so I'll be getting the last element that is stored at the n minus 1 index of arr2. Similarly, if I value will be incremented, so now I want to multiply the second element of arr1 with that of the second last element of arr2. So here arr of 1 will be there, as if I is 1. Then here what will happen? I is 1. So n minus 1, that will give us n minus 2. Right? So we are multiplying the second element of arr1 to that of the second last element of arr2, and this multiplication we are adding to our summation variable, that is s, right? This is storing the summation, and then after coming out of this for loop, what we'll be doing, we'll be simply returning s, right? So this was the whole logic. Now let's run our code and let's see what we are getting. So let's suppose the size is 6, then we are having 22, 7, 1 minus 5, 5 minus 2. And now we have to give the elements for arr2. So it is 4 minus 1, 21, 12, 10 minus ka 3. And you can see we are getting -102 as the output, right? So this is how it is working. You can see both the codes were pretty easy and you have understood the both. So make sure to like the video, make sure to share this video with your friends as well. Thank you for watching the video, and guys, be safe because the situation is very worse nowadays. So be safe, take care of yourself. Thank you for watching this video. Bye bye. Don't forget to subscribe the channel.